Hello, everyone. There is so much we have to cover on this first Thursday in February. First and foremost, word on the curb is that Harlequin is closing the doors on their historicals books that they're doing for category romance, which is very devastating to a lot of readers. So we're going to get into that today. Also, we are sharing our February TBRs. So there's lots of exciting new books that we both have on our reading list that we can't wait to share with you. And what else is going on? We want to hear from you. We're going to share what we're watching and reading and just all the things. But we really have to get into the news. So first and foremost, there was an author who had shared in a group. Let me get that up on screen here. Terry Brisbane posted about being asked by readers about all the changes that are happening. So I have it up on screen so y'all can see it. I have to pull it up on my phone because, listen, the eyes are not doing what they used to do. But the author said, I've been asked about the rumors about Harlequin, Mills and Boon historical line closing down. Sadly, it's true. Authors in the line were told yesterday, but we're in shock at this point and are still sorting through contract questions, etc. The last historicals will release in English in September 2027. Spine date, October 2027. All backlist books will continue on sale and foreign languages will continue too. Then the author goes on to say, I've written for them since 2000. And I think the book I just turned in was my 35th for them. It's a shame the line never got the promotion or nudging that the other lines did, and that it was nearly invisible to readers. But at least our fabulous stories will still be available. I hope you will give us a try. So, of course, lots of people saw this. They were super, super upset about it. We do have a link in the video's description to a content creator whose name is Reading Category Romance, who I also watched and saw her immediate response and quite upset about it. But Fran, when you heard the news that they were closing down this particular line, what was your initial gut reaction?
I think for me, the first reaction is the fact that category romance as a whole, I think it's probably selling less in general. And Harlequin does have some other imprints and lines that are doing really well. And I've seen them focus a lot more in marketing those lines. And I think it's also because of just the market in general. They're really, I always say like publishers are behind the curve, but they're really trying to lean into those book trophies and like, the pretty edges and all this stuff. And obviously that's not something that would work for the category romance line because like they're completely different. The way people consume those books is completely different as well. I don't know if necessarily probably the readership has gone down, I imagine, but also they do put out a lot of books in category romance generally. So if they're not turning in a profit, it's almost like they have these lines that, from a business point of view, it's like they have to carry those lines from the profits of another line. And that's probably where they're going with it. Also, I mean, there's been so much chatter with other publishers just not renewing contracts for historical romance authors, which, I mean, that's like a whole other complaint that I have, because I feel like if anything, I actually think we're going to start seeing a resurgence of historical romance. Like maybe this year might be where it starts, but I do see that coming, and then they're not going to be there. And, it's going to be a missed opportunity. But also, I think when it comes to these particular category of romances, as much as marketing is a factor, also distribution is a factor. And I spoke last year about the fact that mass market paperbacks are going to see a drastic distribution issue starting this year, because the major distributor, I guess everything was funneling through this one company that was distributing mass market paperbacks to stores. So, big box retailers like Walmart and Target and, those kind of stores. And I think that for category romance, that is probably historically where a lot of people have purchased those books. And besides like having a subscription directly with Harlequin and getting them in the mail, which I did back in the day. So I think that, distribution is probably also a big factor of that. And if they're not going to have an easy way to get into the stores, they're probably not going to put in the work to figure out what else they should do. And category romance would not work to publish it as a trade paperback size for many different reasons.
Right, right. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. If you're just joining us, we are sharing at the top. We're going to get into our February TBR, what we're watching and all the things. But right now, we're talking about the news that Harlequin's historical line might be coming to an end. I had up on screen an author who shared that, they've been receiving inquiries, Terry Brisbane, from readers saying they are hearing, things out there. Is this true? The author made a statement essentially confirming that, yes, they received emails notifying them of this. They're currently having lots of questions themselves. They are working through all the details themselves. And like Francesca said, we also heard the news about mass market paperbacks also not going to be distributed by the major distributor. I have a little bit here. So just in case you're just joining us, let me just kind of bring you all in. There are reports that Harlequin's historical line might be coming to an end, right as mass market paperbacks are quietly disappearing from shelves. So Reader Link is ending distribution because they've seen sales drop more than 80% since 2004. And it feels like the end of an era for those pocket-sized romances. So essentially, we are here talking about what does this mean for readers? What does this mean for collectors as well? Because that is also another thing. Again, we do have a link in the video's description to one reader reading category romance. She shared her takes. Francesca has a video. I'm talking about me. What is this? Francesca has a video where she talks about mass market paperbacks. I always struggle saying that. Mass market paperbacks disappearing. So be sure to check out that video as well. I also have a link in the video's description to Publishers Weekly sharing the numbers about why the decision was made to remove mass market paperbacks. Let us know if you're watching us live, but also replay crew. We would love to hear from you as well. Are you going to miss the historical line from Harlequin, but also are you going to miss mass market paperbacks? I'm just going to go on a limb and say, I think it's a big mistake. I think it's a big mistake removing historicals right now. I also think it's a big mistake removing mass market paperbacks. Mm-hmm. I know people don't like it, but there are lots of readers who do. And, when I have conversation with readers, especially readers who read a lot, this was very affordable. And when you look back in history, this was the most affordable form of entertainment. There were so many people who had mass market paperbacks more than they actually had, like the big hardcovers and the big paperbacks and stuff like that. And I hate to bring, y'all are probably going to hate me for this, but I'm always going to bring it back to the economy, okay? The economy is not economying right now. So people not being able to get mass market paperbacks, right away as a cheaper entry point to also enjoy the same entertainment so we can talk about all the same things is kind of troubling to me. And the last thing I'm going to say, I found it interesting when I moved to America. American publishers, they give you the hardback, then they give you the paperback, and then they give you the mass. I am used to just pulling up in a bookstore and having access to all three and me buying whatever I want at that point. But again, we've seen publishing change, but we want to hear from you readers. Let us know your thoughts as well. And one question for you, Fran, because right now, Bridgerton, the new Bridgerton is out right now. I have a theory kind of tying this all together. And I know we will talk TV at the end of today's live, but I felt like the publishers had an expectation of Bridgerton. Yeah. And like lifting all the boats, the high tide raises all boats. But it didn't raise it in the way I think they wanted and they expected. But I'm also like, they weren't meeting the moment. I mean, is it just me? But
no, I completely agree. I think also there's a lot, they didn't meet the moment in many different ways, because one thing is, people that are watching Bridgerton, they might want that modern take on historical romance. And I feel like that's not as available. Like there's a little bit, but there's not a lot for people to look at. So if that's what they were liking, then that they didn't meet the moment because that's not readily available enough. Then, I mean, it's getting better, but we're still not there. But then also the people that did want the historical romances, well, if you're consuming a lot of historical romances, I feel like right now the people are in different camps, right? There's the people that are worried about money, like you said, and they need to have accessible mass market paperbacks. All the big major publishers, even if they're still publishing some historical romance, they've gone to trade, which I feel like, especially for historical romance, it's always been mass market. Like historical romance, it would have to be such a special, it was almost like a special edition that would get anything other than a mass market paperback. So it's like the one genre that's where it existed. You know, it had to be such a massive success of a book for it to get a hardcover, and it would still be a mass market paperback release to start. So I think historically it's a genre that lives in that format. That is what people expect. That is how people consume it. That is also how much people consume it, which, going back to the money, it needs to also be affordable. So I think there's so many ways. Like the big publishers try to make a trade, and they try to make the covers cute, and they think like that's how it's going to sell. Like that's why it's not selling. It's because it's not a cute cover, and it's not like the pretty object to put on the shelf. But the genre and the readers of the genre necessarily don't consume it that way. And, you know, money. I think that is something that they're really not thinking about. Also, I feel like they're really going on the assumption that like, oh, the sales are dying, which I have seen them do this before with paranormal romance. They did this before. They were not signing any contracts for new paranormal romance authors for a decade. And then, you know, that started doing well on indie publishing. And so now they're like, oh, let's publish again. No, the vampires. So they're always behind the eight ball, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And they're never meeting the moment. Now, going back to your point on Bridgerton, though, I think that there is always the expectation that when something does well, it will pull everything else. But in some ways, just as Bridgerton didn't really do that, even something like Heated Rivalry, I don't think it's doing that either. You know, people, are they probably going to try one or two different things? Yeah. But do I also see them losing steam and not caring to go down the rabbit hole? Also, yes. So I think that is just a natural thing. It's just their expectations are always misplaced. You know, I don't think that one thing doing really well necessarily will translate into a whole genre having a resurgence. So
no, I agree, but y'all have had our takes. We want to hear from you. I am daring publishing. I'm putting it out there right now. I am daring publishing to publish all three formats at the same time. Just give us everything at the same time. Let the market choose. Let readers choose. Let readers choose how they want to consume the content. Because I think the easier you make it, the more accessible you make it, the different price points that you have available, I think it will encourage more people to read. And then people will be more excited because then they can afford to be a part of the conversation at the same time. So let us know your thoughts in the comments about the Harlequin of it all. But now we're going to get into the more fun and exciting bit. We are going to get into our TBRs. So we are going to be sharing some of the books that we have on our February TBRs. Let us know in the comments, but also the live chat if you're watching live. But replay crew, we want to hear from you as well. What are you reading or hoping to read this February? What do you have on your list? I'm going to start by saying I'm reading a lot of early books right now because I'm preparing for the summer reading guide. I know it sounds distant, y'all, but I have to be reading the books early so I can deliver them and, you know, put together a guide of really good books for you. So I'm really heavy in the weeds. Shameless plug, spring reading guide is coming in March, but the summer guide is coming around end of May. So on my list right now, not the news. Not the news. There we go. Colson Whitehead is on my list. I'm really excited to read his new book. This is a part of like a Harlem trilogy he has going on, because he had Harlem Shuffle, then he had this other book, and then now he has this one. I'm excited to read just because I feel like he's very unique in his voice, he can just show up very differently for different books. So I am very excited to read Colson Whitehead. I'm also reading Carly Fortune. You see how all over the place I am? I'm going from Colson to Carly, but hey, I have to read Carly to vet Carly, to see if Carly is worthy to be included in a summer reading guide. I know people look forward to Carly every year. I actually feel like, was it her second book or something? Yeah, was my favorite. I know she had Perfect Summer out last year. It was fun. It was a good time, but I think the other book was my favorite. Now I'm forgetting the name, but it has a similar color to this, like pinkish though. But have you noticed, y'all, her covers they all have like similar vibes?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm excited to read Carly just because I love the latest Abby. Abby did an amazing job. So I want to see if like Carly matches up. I'm also excited to see whatever Emily Henry. Does Emily Henry have a book coming out? I don't think I have that. But
I haven't seen, no. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll see what that is when that comes around. But what do you have on your TBR?
So a couple of things that are on my immediate TBR. So the first is Half City by Kate Golden. I've been wanting to dive into this since last year when I got the ARC. And it gives me vibes of Buffy. So it's basically a demon hunter who goes into this academy. So it's kind of like a Harry Potter type setting or the Magicians type setting. And so she's a demon hunter, goes into this. And of course, there's the demon that she has to fall for. So it does give me like those vibes like Buffy, vampire hunter falls for Angel, the vampire, and plus the academy setting. So I'm excited for it. I think it's also kind of different from what Kate Golden has done in the past. It's more urban fantasy from what I've heard. So I'm excited for that. Another one that's also kind of dark academia as well is Wicked Onyx by Debbie Cassidy. This is more like I think like a paranormal fantasy romance, I think, or maybe it's also urban fantasy. I'm not sure, but it's also an academy. And our heroine is an Onyx. So it's kind of like a sorcerer bloodline. And she goes into this academy to kind of find out like what happened to her ancestors and things like that. So of course there's curses and all kinds of stuff once she gets there. So both of these are like dark academia, paranormal. I'm assuming one is like a fantasy world, but maybe not. Maybe they're both urban fantasy types. So I think they sound very good. It's exciting to have like a bit of like a dark academia paranormal vibe going. So I'm in the mood for that for sure.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. That even has my attention. That sounds pretty cool. On my TBR, another book that is coming out, vetting again, for the summer reading guide. So these are the summer picks. And I have a whole bunch that I talked about on my channel. So I have a dedicated video to my February TBR, which is insane. But this one is the author weekend. I'm excited about it because this is supposed to be like a satirical kind of novel where a mystery author hosts like a fan weekend. But of course, somebody shows up dead. So, it's like the publishing mix, female dynamics, fan dynamics, and the author sounds insane. So I can't wait to kind of see about this book and see how it holds up. So I'm actually really, really excited about that one. The other books that I'm sharing with you are on my physical TBR. Like I said, I have this whole video with 30 books because I'm insane for my February TBR. So you can check that out. But as it relates to physical books, I have this one book called Jane's Career by H.G. DeLissa. This is like a classic that I'm adding to my list for this month. I'm really excited. It's a Jamaican author written in like the 1910s or something like that. So I'm really excited. It's one of the early books that they said kind of shaped the canon. Yeah, I do have the cover there. So I'm really excited about it. On the back, it says about this girl who leaves her family, going to the city. She gets all this advice from people like in the village. But she's so excited to go to get her independence and just daydreams of everything that's going to be. So yeah, it's Jane's Career. I'm really excited about this author because he has been on my radar for a long time. Sticking with the Jamaican theme is this other book I have called Jamaican Road. This is on my physical TBR because I was going through my pile and I was like, what haven't I read? And this came out last year. I did read the blurb and I was really excited about it because it's about Jamaicans in Britain. So see, that one is about a Jamaican in Jamaica. This is about Jamaicans in Britain. It's also set in a community I know very well, which is called Brixton. Lots of Jamaicans live in Brixton. And it's a story about two best friends who love each other, but they fall apart. They find their way back to each other. But it's, of course, set in this tight-knit British Jamaican community. So South London, 1981. I'm really excited about it. I always loved, going down South London. It's a time. So kind of getting the 80s setting. I'm really excited to kind of see what the author does with it. I don't know why I didn't get around to it sooner, but, life happens sometimes.
It happens.
Yeah, but
sure.
I'm excited. Yes. What are you reading?
So another one that I'm excited to read is How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by Shaylee Thompson. So this one is a slasher rom-com. So we have a heroine who goes like speed dating and lights go out, someone gets murdered, and she gets basically stuck in this situation, a little bit of a love triangle. So I'm excited. I feel like it sounds like so much fun. we love to kill some people.
We do.
It just sounds really fun. Plus, I think if you're like a fan of the old school slasher horror movies, this is like a fun take on that. So definitely looking forward to that. And then Vanguard, which I'm actually in the middle of reading right now by Karina Haley. So the author calls this a post-dystopian romance. Also can be considered a little bit of a dark romance, but on the lighter side of dark romance. You can also consider this a sci-fi romance. So basically our heroine is an assassin, and she has like this poisonous saliva that she can kill basically. So she can't kiss anybody because she's poisonous. And she has to infiltrate this group of like elite soldiers. And once she is infiltrating this group, she realizes one of them is immune to her saliva. So of course, it's like the one man that she can kiss, but he might be actually one of the monsters that she's chasing. So, problems. But it's almost like a little bit like, oh God, what is that called? X-Men.
Oh, okay.
But like dystopian setting. And by dystopian, I mean like, stuff already happened and we're kind of more where it's still a corrupt society without everything looking like ruins, like it's still a city looking setting, but we've gone through some stuff.
We love it.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that and continuing that.
Okay, awesome. I have a book, okay? The title took me out. So I'm glad I have the cover up here to share with you, because I was like, what in the Lord's name? This is entitled The Ex-Boyfriend's Favorite Recipe Funeral Committee by Saki Kawashiro, translated from the Japanese by Yuka Meino. Listen, again, how did I not read this one? Life happens sometimes. I'm just going through the stacks. Hear me out, because I haven't read it yet, but I actually feel like I'm probably going to read it by this weekend. So I'll be probably sharing thoughts soon. Essentially, these people are making recipes from their exes. So like your exes you and your ex, well, it's your ex. So you and this person break up. You're making like their favorite meals. I'm like, make that make sense. Like if you were a widow, I get that, because it's like memory, it's, an act of love. But these people are just, I don't know, but they all come together. On the back, it has, what ingredients do you need to cure a broken heart? So it's a comfort read for anybody who has lost someone or whatever. But I'm just like, if you dumped a person, because it says this main character was going to propose instead. Well, she thought he was going to propose, but he broke things off at this hotel. So what does she do? She gets drunk. Then she tells anybody who she sees, like, listen, guy broke up with me. But then goes on that the manager decides to indulge her by letting her go in the kitchen and cook up her ex's favorite dish. I'm like, if the man is trash and he broke up with you, why would you be cooking his favorite meal? No, ma'am. No. Listen, I'm going to give the book a chance, but I am judging. Because, so I'm like, what? Why? The brain cannot comprehend. If you lost someone you love who unfortunately passed away, I get that. I get that deeply. But someone who you thought was supposed to propose to you didn't, but they dumped you. And I get the telling people you're sad story. Well, listen, I wouldn't do that. That is not me. However, I understand other people doing that.
Yeah.
But cooking the food, I don't understand that.
No.
No. But anyway, that's on my TBR. That's on my TBR.
Oh my God. I also have one that's cute and one that's still like a little bit dystopian urban fantasy. I went a little dark with my TBR. I just realized that. I guess that's the mood right now. I don't know. But something not dark is Only Friends by Lidia San Andres. Now, this is about a screenwriter and a model, and they team up to make Regency thirst traps, basically, together, and, catch feelings as well as they're doing that. So it sounds like fun. I feel like that's going to be like my Valentine's book.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Liven up the darkness that you see over here. And then Savage Lands by Stacey Marie Brown. Now, this is getting reissued, like republished, but I feel like it's been on my TBR for many years. I think there's 4 or 5 or 6 books out. I'm not sure.
Yes.
It's a long running series, and I've been wanting to read it for a while. I've always heard that it's more like urban fantasy, but they're marketing it as a romantasy. I know that they call everything a romantasy now because they want to sell, but I'm not going in on that assumption. But it does have a Fae prison, basically. So it's set in Budapest after the Fae Wars. And our heroine is a human. She gets thrown in this prison. And there's some kind of a Fae legend that rules the prison, and and then supposedly she has something to do with this legend, and there's a kingpin in there, and so it gets dark from there. So it's kind of like a prison setting, which I can appreciate sometimes. So it feels more like urban fantasy / dystopian to me. So I don't know what they're talking about romantasy, but I will report back.
They are trying to sell books because I'm working with some influencers on this book. So low key, yes, I think they're trying to sell books. This is going to be on my March TBR. So yeah. But it sounds more to me urban fantasy. If I had to pick a category, it sounds more urban fantasy for sure. However, we also have one book in common on our TBR. And no, it's not Meg and Joe, because we read Meg and Joe last month. So if you didn't join us, go check out that video. This month, we're reading Shanora Williams. Okay, so this is our live book club read. We're reading Shanora Williams together. So get Whispers of the Lake. Get it at your library. Get it online. Get it wherever you get your books. So we can read. We are going to be talking about this on the third Thursday. Hold, let me give you the exact date. So that's February 19th. We're going to be talking about it February 19th. Come and get our unfiltered thoughts and takes on this book. But we also want you to mark your calendar early as well. So in March, we are reading Mimi Matthews' Rules for Ruin. This is book 1 in a new series she has going on. It's the Crinoline Academy. There is a book 2 out now, but we are starting with book 1. So again, mark your calendars, but also, reserve the book. If you probably already have it already, now's a great excuse for you to get to it. But this month we're reading Shanora Williams. So be sure to come and join us so we can talk about it. So that's it for all books on our TBR. You let us know what books you're interested in reading, or maybe if some of the books we shared today you found interesting as well. We would love to hear from you. But we're going to keep the things rolling. We're going to roll into what we are watching. So as for what we're watching, I am just watching one thing right about now. Traitors. Y'all are sick of me because every week I am coming and I'm telling you all the same thing. Are there book adaptations coming out that I should be watching? Absolutely. Some are out now and I still haven't gotten to them. But the one thing that has my attention is Traitors, everyone. So these are the folks in the house. We have been voting them out week after week. They're also getting murdered because that's what the traitors do at night. So they meet at the round table as a group, in public, and they vote out who they think is a traitor, and whether they're a traitor or not, or a faithful, it doesn't matter. You have been voted out of the house. And then at night, the traitors go and they murder somebody. So it has been a time. It really has been a time. I've been really enjoying it this week. So if y'all are watching and y'all are behind, listen, y'all can't be behind because new episodes come out on a Thursday night. So it's been out a whole week. So I'm going to talk about it. Last week was so dramatic. They had like this banquet dinner. And normally when a murder occurs, like I said, it happens at night and you just wake up in the morning and the person who was murdered doesn't show up for breakfast, So that's how you know. So everyone's come in, you're like, oh, who hasn't come in yet? But this time they had a dinner. They had a good old dinner. They had a dinner at lavish setup. The people in the UK know how to do a thing. All right. Anyway, long story short, there was a murder in plain sight. And then the person who was murdered was dragged, like physically dragged from the table. You have like the guards just like lift. So Jam Jam got murdered. Everybody's favorite Puerto Rican is out the house. So yeah, Yam Yam's gone. It was so dramatic. And as he was leaving, he was yelling, Lisa murdered me. Lisa murdered me. Lisa's a traitor. And yes, Lisa is a traitor. However, it was not a kiss, which he thought like it was the kiss because people started thinking like, was it the food that we ate? Did we touch it? And they're going down because then the host, Alan, comes with this antidote thing to say, oh, if you drink this and you were the murdered person, you will be saved. But anyway, no. Like I said, it was Jam Jam. He was gone. However, the whole setup, it was about touching a brooch. It's whoever she could get to touch a poisonous brooch. It wasn't a kiss, but Jam Jam is like, she kissed me as he's being dragged out of the place. So what do the people do? They go vote for Lisa. Yes, they found out she was a traitor. But I think her traitor brother, Rob, really lit the fire and forced her ousting. I'm not saying she wouldn't have gotten out eventually, but you're supposed to protect your fellow traitors, but he threw her under the bus. So now Candace, who is a housewife as well, because Lisa's a housewife, she's still in the house, she's still a traitor, but now she has to work with the guy who just threw Lisa under the bus. And I know Candace, I don't think Candace is going to abide by that. She's going to be like, you are on your own. Mm-hmm. And she also did a shady thing when they were all voting Lisa. They were either voting Lisa or another person. I forgot her name. Natalie. Yeah, Natalie. And instead, she didn't vote, obviously, for Lisa because she's like, no, I'm holding my girl down. But she also didn't vote for Natalie, where she's like, I can't vote for any of you. I'm confused. I just put a name down. And she put down Rob, aka the traitor who threw Lisa under the bus. So shots are fired because people are now going to think, if they're smart, they're going to think back, well, wait. If she voted for Rob back then because Lisa was a traitor, and if she gets out the house and then they find out she's a traitor, then they might put 2 and 2 together. Who knows? Anyway, as y'all can tell, I've been having a good old time with the traitors, everybody. Don't ask me about nothing else. This is the one thing up because I have a lot of books to read. I have guides to prepare people. So this is the one show I'm truly, truly invested in. But I know you've been watching some things too, girl.
I've been watching. I haven't been reading much, actually. Okay. So, I wanted to watch season 4 of Bridgerton. Okay. Did not happen. We'll try again this weekend.
Try again.
So what I did watch was, I think is one season. I can't remember. I think it's one season of this Turkish show called Old Money. And it's basically about this very rich society. And there's a family who are seen as like the uncouth and like the new money, let's say, people. Yeah. So like they don't fit in. And one of them that one family, one of them in particular has like this single focus on this other one family and kind of like taking them down and all of this. And he falls in love with the daughter of that family.
Mm-hmm.
And, things happen from there. So there's money drama, and there's, backstabbing, and we find out things about their family background and history because they're not who they seem to be and all of that. So it was interesting. The acting was atrocious. Horrendous.
Oh my Lord. I did not see that coming. I'm like, oh, nice. It sounds good. Atrocious acting, Lord.
Like when I say it was, and some of the dialogue was also kind of, but I couldn't stop watching it anyway.
It's like books that have bad writing. The writing is horrendous, but you are here for the story.
I needed to know how it was going to end. And then, our heroine is just, like those Too Stupid to Live heroines where like you really are like, girl, come on, use your brain for a little bit. Like, why are you jumping to conclusions? Why are you doing this and that? That was that. So, I mean, in theory, I shouldn't have been watching it, but I was there for it. So I think my brain just needed the escape.
It needed the escape, yeah.
And then I think I got maybe 3 or 4 chapters into Queen of Flow, season 3. There's like 60 something episodes, so I am way early into it. I'm really pacing myself. You know what it is? I am frustrated because the main character in the whole series is missing. I mean, we know where she is, like we've seen her, but she's not part of the main
cast,
action of what's going on. It's almost like, oh, everybody's looking for her. And now we're dragging into, I don't know, I am episode like 8 or 10 into it. And I feel like at this point we are repeating every episode, like, okay, different things are happening, but we're still in the same thing. It's like, okay, everybody's still suspicious of that, and everybody still thinks it's this person, and they still don't know where she is, and they're still trying. Like, we're kind of rehashing the same plot for episode after episode, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that, and I want something new to happen. Give me some new drama. Put somebody in jail. Shoot somebody. I don't know.
Something.
I need something new. So I'm a little desperate for that, but I still enjoy it. Also, something else that I am not a huge, I'm not loving as much is the fact that the biggest part of this series is the fact that there's always music, because they're all basically pretty much every character is some kind of a singer. And so there's always music. So they're doing a show, they're recording, blah, blah, blah. And there hasn't also been a lot of that in this one. So I am ready for like the staples to come back, and like I'm ready for like what I like about the show to be there. So it hasn't gotten there yet. So, but I'm gonna give it a chance because I do like it. Okay. Great acting. Well, not all of them, but much better acting.
Much better than it.
Yeah, like the main character is great acting. The Turkish, some rough stuff over there.
Girl said it's rough. You know what? Like, as you were chatting, I just remembered. You know, the other thing I did watch, though. This is what I did watch. I did watch Real Housewives of Potomac just because Karen got out of jail. So there's this housewife who went to jail for a DUI. Now, we heard it was her 4th DUI, but she came and she's like, no, let's talk about that. And I was like, okay, what's she going to say? She had this was her 2nd DUI, but she had 2 other alcohol-related incidences. I said, ma'am, that is semantics.
Yeah.
Semantics. But I watched it, but someone said, this is a Real Housewives of Potomac, but it should be, and online people use a hashtag RHOP, but it should be, instead of Real Housewives of Potomac, it should be Real Housewives of Prison, because unless we have another one. So it's like we got one person come back home, she's back home now. Karen is back home, but we might have Wendy going to prison. So it's like, oh, you just got released in 6 months, but we're going to be sending somebody else off. What is going on? So what happened on Sunday, but I didn't watch it Sunday. I watched it Monday, but the sit down post prison happened. So he's talking to her. She was in prison for 6 months. She said she thought the judge was going to give her a month or something. She got 2 years to do, and then 2, I forgot the terminology that they use, but basically if you mess up, they will throw you right back in. 2 years at that. Then she has like 10 years probation and the can drive thing and the blowing thing and all the things. Okay.
Rough.
But she did 6 months. This lady is 62 years old and she is going to jail. I said, I know these people are a mess. But anyway, the sit down, you know, she had some accountability and some, you know, she had to learn. Because here's the thing. They did the sit down interview 1 month after this woman came out of jail. I felt that was too soon. I was like, I know you want her fresh, but
That's fresh.
it's too soon. They filmed her leaving the prison facility. And they got clips with her briefly reuniting with her husband, her daughter, and her sister. But then they came back for like the sit down a week later. I said, so this is going to be like the Real Housewives of Prison at this point, because the other one now is alleged insurance fraud. And I'm like, what is wrong with these?
The same show?
In the same show.
Oh, God.
The same show. Yeah, Dr. Wendy. Her and her husband were charged with insurance fraud. And people are like, that is some serious stuff. Because, you know, they record phone calls, you sign papers, you allege things are missing. And then they found out that some stuff you didn't even have. You return them to the store, but you're producing these old receipts and you say things are missing, jewelry is missing, but you're wearing it in pictures on social media.
Yeah.
Listen, also, if you're gonna criminal, well, don't do that. Listen, me, I am scared. Don't tell me nothing because I will talk. Let me tell I am scared. Don't, no. But if you're gonna do stuff, don't do dumb stuff like that. I mean, the last person I would mess with is an insurance company. You know? If somebody is desperate and they're hungry and they have a friend who work at a supermarket or a restaurant and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna come pick up some food at the end of the day, sneak me some food. That I will excuse, but lying, fraud, money, trying to act like you have more than you have, listen, I can't abide by none of that. Real Housewives of Prison. I watched the DUI sit down. I watched the Fresh from Jail episode. That was that. But anyways, you let us know what you are watching. Let us know what you are watching in the comments. But also, we want you to mark your calendars. Again, we are having book club for the month of February. We are reading Shanora Williams. So hopefully this is thrilling and entertaining too. I mean, I read the blurb and I'm like, okay, this sounds exciting. Let's read this one together, you know, switching things up from last month, but also add Rules for Ruin by Mimi Matthews. That's what we're reading next month. Also, just mark your calendar for our calendar, okay? So we just did our TBR, which means next week we're going to be doing our book haul, and then the following week is book club, Whispers of the Lake book club. So again, mark your calendars. We want to see you there. We go live every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. Okay, just put in your headphones at work. You can listen to us. You don't even have to respond. Just come for the good time and a kiki. And if you can, you know, sneak a little comment in there, you know, that works. If you can't, don't worry about it either. Okay, we need you to keep your jobs, especially in this economy. Okay, we all need to stay employed. Let's be very clear. But we want you to come hang out with us every Thursday. So yeah, I think that's it for today's show. But until next time, you know, subscribe to our channel so you know when we go live, and we are looking forward to talking to you in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Bye.